Hey, this is Panda. She was just sitting in my chair and now she's wondering why I had to move her, but here we are. So we're gonna play with some paint. Now's a perfect time when we're not going out as much to go maybe grab some art supplies and play with things that you might not normally do, or play with some paint. So I just thought we'd do some fun springtime activities. I was remembering back to when I was a kid in elementary school and we did some fun art projects back then, back when they had art as a class. So in elementary school. So yeah, thought it would be fun to play with some paint. So I got out supplies to do watercolors. I got out supplies to do an acrylic paint pour, and then just a straight up acrylic painting. I got out the Mod Podge because I thought it might be fun once we're done with the watercolor piece to actually do some three-dimensional pieces. So then it's called mixed media, right? So yeah, we're gonna hang out for a minute and play with some paint. So I thought, if we're stuck at home and we're probably a little bit more isolated than we're told to isolate ourselves a little bit more, except for the grocery store and do the necessities. So I thought, why not pull out the paints or pull out something artistic to kind of lower the blood pressure, de-stress a little bit. Doing that so we can create a little bit of a sense of community, even though there's a screen in between us and probably a few miles in between us. The first thing that I'm doing is just a watercolor. I don't even know what you call it. So we're gonna mix up a thin watercolor, dark blackish brown. It could be black, could be brown. And we're gonna mix it up pretty watery, and then we're going to use a straw and blow it out to make like a branch or a tree on the paper. The kind of fun thing about this is that blowing it makes really natural shapes, but you don't really know what you're gonna get exactly, and so that's kind of fun too. I think people stress out too much about the end result, and I try to help people. I teach them techniques, but try to get them in the right mindset for just playing and discovering and enjoying the medium for what it is. So I will turn the camera down and show you what we have. I don't know if you guys are familiar with watercolors that come in tubes, but I'm gonna squish a little bit of the watercolor into one of these little pockets. Oh, these haven't been opened in a while. All right, this is gonna take some drastic measures, unless I can find another one that does open. I keep a little, oh look, there's black. I keep a little not screwdriver, and what are those things called? Pliers that have the little notchy grippy things on the inside, so when they can grip a round thing like this. And then I hang on to the lid pretty tightly, but I gently turn the metal tube so I don't like destroy the metal tube to get it open. So that's how I solve the can't get it open thing. I'm looking for another brown that is hopefully more. So black works fine. I'm gonna mix a little bit of black and a little bit of brown if they'll cooperate with me. So that's what I have. I have watercolor paper here. And I just squeezed a little bit of black and a little bit of brown in here. And I'm gonna put a little bit of water. So like I said, I was gonna make it pretty watery. And to stir a little bit of water in at a time because these are old watercolor, liquidy watercolors. You can do this with the Crayola type, the cakes, the watercolor sets. They work just fine. You just get them a little bit wet. I usually take a straw or a squeeze bottle or something and squeeze just a few drips of water into each cake that I plan to use and get them warmed up. But this is a little thing that I did when I was in, I don't know, elementary school, I think. And I thought it was so cool. And I know in Washington, in 3 counties, kids are staying home from school right now. So I thought with all these moms, like, or parents trying to figure out childcare and all the things that comes with that, I thought, well, let's bring some joy throughout the land. Oh, there's Panda. You guys see Panda? Right there, just off camera. She's gonna spectate. Here, I'll turn the camera just cause she's awfully cute. Here, you see my Panda? Hi, Panda. Oh, yawn, big yawn. Panda, Panda, look up here. There, show everybody your cute face. Yeah. That's our baby. Yeah. She thinks she needs to be part of, I think she knows when I'm doing videography and she just has to come hang out. So that's my little girl, a little bit of a troublemaker. Yeah, it's Panda. So I'm not, there may be more to that show. I don't know. She's settled down pretty good, so we'll see. So the thing with watercolors is I learned in elementary school also, I remember the teacher taking like a glass and asking us if we thought that if we filled it up to the top of the water, up to the top with water, could she fill it so that it went above the rim? And most of us, me included, thought, no, that's not possible. But we learned something about water molecules that day because she surprised us. She kept adding more and more drops of water until the water bubbled over the top of the jar. And it helped me learn that water molecules have a property that they like to stick to each other. And I think it's the imbalance with the electrons or something. I'm not the scientist, but I just remember that they like to stick to each other. And that applies with art because if I want the water prefers to go where it's already wet. So they kind of are attracted to each other. And that's kind of where like fog can turn into water droplets. So let's say if I chose I'm getting this wet, so I'm dipping into my water and I'm getting this wet. But you can't tell yet, huh? So my puddle of paint is liquidy here, guys. And so I'm gonna put my straw down in it and put my finger on the top of the straw to capture a drop of paint. And now I'm gonna drop it. Oh, look, see? It's going where I got it wet. Look at that. Pretty swanky. Painting with straws. So that was kind of cool. Oh look, I guess I wanted a black drop of paint there. So my concept is making like tree branches or a tree, and then we're gonna put some cherry blossoms on it, or apple blossoms, or whatever, some sort of blossoms. But I thought this was kind of a fun way to get these branchy looking things happening. Another way you can do it, this isn't wet over here, this is dry paper, is blow. Panda is very, very interested. I think the other one branched off so nicely because I kind of told it where to go. That's kind of fun, you guys. This is going to be great. All right, here's another one right there. Playing with paint. It's kind of fun to watch children when they're like 4, 5, 6. They're just discovering, and they're just creating because they want to create. They're just happy as clams with paper and you know, whatever supplies they have, and they fill the paper with color and stuff. Isn't that kind of fun? So I'm going to put this to the side. My thought after this dries is that we could go back in with paint and create little blossoms. We could get different pinks going on and drop blossoms of pink on wet, and it would blend and look amazing. We could do cutouts of tissue paper and glue it on. We could do so many different things. We could just hand paint them as well. But let's let the black settle down and soak in, and we can move this to the side. So say bye-bye to this one for a minute. We'll move this to the side, and I'll come back to it. Hopefully Panda doesn't walk on it in between. Otherwise, we are turning this episode into how to paint with your cat. So these watercolors, we will play some more with watercolors in different episodes. Life is always more interesting with Panda. Let me show you Panda here. She's just hanging out watching me. There's my Panda girl. Hi, Panda. You're being a good girl. So we don't want to get her too riled up or she'll start playing with things. She's a baby. Let's do an acrylic pour. This also will have the blossom theme on it. I just thought it would be really fun to do this. Yeah, it's a little messy to do with really small children, but if you're set up for it and you can do it in your garage, or do it like I'm doing it on a folding table from Costco, you know, just a plain folding table, but I've got a dollar store plastic tablecloth taped onto it so it stays there. And then I will get out like another garbage bag, like a kitchen size garbage bag, and put it under my project so it catches the paint and things. So this is it's like a canvas, but it's made out of wood, and I mix up acrylic paints with a pouring medium. So I thought that would be really fun for cherry blossoms. This white is mixed up, but it has a pouring, it has silicone in it, so I thought I'd mix up a plain white. So pouring medium, let me get my white. So I just put probably a tablespoon and a half in this little cup of paint. And I'm just realizing now I didn't get my popsicle sticks very handy. So I'm going to use the tail end of a brush since I can wipe it off. So I'm lightening up the paint with water. And this part depends on the thickness of the paint. If the paint is fairly thick, then lightening it with water saves you a little bit from using all pouring medium. Because this is all the pouring medium I have. I've been playing with paint. I've gone through a gallon and a quart and this little bit in the last few months. So the pouring medium, once you like the paint is a little bit thinned down, I do about 50-50 pouring medium to paint. It's right. It's not super, there's a little drip, there's a little drip. All right. Okay, so I'm looking around going, where did I put my my sticks that I use? I was getting a lot of supplies out. So this is the background. And I will go ahead and use a brush to get it started. Panda, what you doing, baby? I see white on white. I got a lot of the pouring medium on there, so the white isn't going to be super thick, but I think it'll still be cool. What's that, baby girl? Wish your nose was right about there so everybody could see him talking to you, huh? All right. Yes. It's like frosting a cake. So I've got brown in there. So what the paints that I'm using are basically the Liquitex Basics paint. This is water. And a little bit of pouring medium. All right, so now let's play. Oh, look. All right. So the acrylic pours are fun because you already know that they're going to be a little bit more abstract, and so they kind of, you kind of release your necessity to make it perfect. All right. You guys see my panda? Panda, panda. Panda, panda, what you doing? She's... Hey, baby girl. Panda, look up here for a minute. Say hi. You're a great yawner. Yeah. She's doing great. Just hanging out. Just sitting there. All right, so I'm using my straw and just blowing this where I want it to go. All right, so that I can let settle for a few minutes while I'm just gonna paint around the edges. Lots of black dripped on this side. That'll be fun. Awesome. Okay. All right, so that's my thought with the cherry blossoms. fun, you guys. Try it over here and here. Oh, there's one I didn't mix. I was thinking that it would be fun to get a drop of the white. I'm creating as we go here. All right. And then the straw. Yeah, I don't remember which side I blew on, but I guess it doesn't matter. Oh, you guys, it's really fun and really textury. I don't know if you guys can see all the texture that's in the paint. Some of that will settle down and naturally fall out, but it's really fun. So I'll post a picture of that, how that dries. It'll take a couple days for it to be like super dry. Tomorrow I'll have a better idea of what it's gonna look like. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Another fun thing to do, I have this white that's mixed with so here, let's take this blossom. This blossom isn't broken up very much. This white has a silicone in it, and it will create windows in the paint. So obviously there's a color difference now, but you can see the windows in the paint coming through, so that's pretty fun. Makes it kind of bubbly and ruffly looking. So maybe dot some of that around in a few places. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that'll make a total of 5. All right. Oh, wow. This one is kind of fun. It has some cells developing in it. Overall, from a distance, it's going to look like a cherry tree. Up close, it looks like a pink and black mess, but it's kind of cool. I like abstract once in a while. It's fun. Most of the time, I'm more of a realist for portraying the blossoms and things like that. Let's see. I'm going to move that to the side and go back to my paper here. Let's play with a few more colors. So we could do 3 different things. We could do drawing. Have you guys seen these before? Watercolor pencils. We could draw little blossoms. I don't have pink tissue paper, but I thought it would be kind of fun to cut flowers out of this and put a drop of paint in the center of them. We could even bust out some hot glue and paint these actual real live blossoms from a dollar store geranium. So that could be a thing where you dot you hot glue these guys on there. But I think we should play with some paint. Pink. Hi, Panda. She's getting closer to the paint. we might get paw prints walking through this painting soon. She's actually doing a really good job of not being overly curious. I think she's seen me paint enough. Doesn't it seem like some of the blossoms are brighter than others? Like they have almost like a hot pink in the middle. That's kind of what I was thinking. And white. I don't think there's a rule against painting with the back side of the brush. So this is the end, and I'm dipping it into my paint. And I'm just going around in a little squiggle. I was surprised when I took art lessons throughout the years that there's like a psychology to it as well. Like your eye fills in so much. You don't have to paint every single outline and every little thing because your eye fills in a lot of the details just psychologically. And so that I found that fascinating. And also liberating, because once you get a hang of that concept and you recognize that you don't have to stress over every little detail, or that you don't have to draw a complete line. Like if I had a blossom, like that blossom isn't really even connected to anything at the moment, but I don't feel the need to rush back in there with black to connect it to something, because your eye will fill it in, and as long as it's not too far away from the branch, it's going to look fine. So we played with watercolors, we played with acrylics. This is Panda. It's my baby. You guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I would love to know if you have kids at home or if you have art supplies and you want to know how to use them. Let's maximize this time that we are kind of like stuck, not going places as much as we normally do during this season of sickness for a lot of people, and trying to control it. And I'm definitely, if you are a praying person, pray for the people who are involved and the caretakers of all at the hospitals and every place. I just have a heavy heart for everything that's going on. So yeah, if you have art supplies and you would like to know how to use them, could you please message me or comment below, private message me. You can do it through CamiReneeFineArt.com on my webpage, or right here, or on my Facebook page. So lots of different ways to find me, but I would love to hear from you if you say, hey, I've got these supplies, or my kid really wants to learn how to do this. If I have the supplies, I'd be happy to create some lessons, and let's work together, and I'll try to create some really good content for you guys. I did homeschool my kids for a lot of years and have a lot of art how art relates to other curriculum, history, and different things like that. And I'm also working on color theory. Did you know that color theory and relationships and people, there's so many deep meanings I can draw from just playing around with colors. So I'm hoping that this time we can maximize our time online and create a community that of people who are respecting each other, loving each other, and let's bring a bright spot here. Love you guys, and have an awesome evening. Thanks for hanging out, and please message me. I want to be here for you. So take care.